Hello, gorgeous beings of light. Welcome to the Gaia, one temple, one earth, one people, one love. Welcome to the how to get the most out of your heart sun activation. I'm actually holding this myself, so I'm going to try not to wobble too much, and I'll try and make it snappy for you all. I just finished doing the activation down by the lake, and a whole bunch of blokes pulled up to launch their boat into the lake. So I was just like, yay. How fabulous was that? Perfect timing. So we did a sun earth activation this morning, and as I say in the activation, I had no clue what I was going to do until I woke up and saw this spectacular sun coming through my bedroom window. Woken up by a very savage pussycat, but anyway, just shows you that everything's perfect even when it doesn't look that way. Anyway, so your sun heart activation, I may have just called it a sun earth activation, but it was the sun heart activation that we did, and we connected to the earth and the sun at the same time. It is recommended that you do this for at least 28 days. The activation itself only took about 10 minutes, but if you have extra time, you can sit there and just continue breathing into your heart. The other thing that I forgot to mention, that if you open your heart up and then you're going to jump on a train or a bus where there's lots of people, it's probably a good idea to place a pyramid of protection over the top of you before you do that. Now, there's a lot being said about, oh, you don't need protection if you're really fully enlightened, but who of us is really all completely fully enlightened? Even myself, if I go on a train and I forget to put some pyramid or some protection up, I come home completely drained. Why? Because as you lighten yourself up, you jump on a train and all these people have got all these spooks attached to you. All the spooks go, oh God, there's a bright light, and they all jump on you, take themselves home with you. Anyone who goes to a shopping centre and comes home absolutely stuffed should start using protection. Now, when you're fully enlightened, like Christ was, then you don't have to do that, because you'll instantaneously transmute that stuff as you go. And I'm pretty damn awesome at transmuting stuff. But the brighter you go, the more stuff will come to you. So recently I went to hospital to help a friend who had a bike accident and broken his back. And I don't need to go visit anyone, but I hadn't actually seen this friend for, numerous years. So I really wanted to catch up with him. And the only place I could, because he had a broken back, was in hospital. So I go to that hospital and then I come home and I am wide awake all night because I'm processing people, taking them home. And that's the night before I drove up here to the south coast. And I only got that 1 hour sleep, if you remember. And I wasn't tired. I was wide awake all night. I was just getting cranky because my logical mind's going, oh, I've got to drive 10 hours tomorrow. I've got to drive 700 kilometres. So, yeah. It's just how it goes. So a really excellent protection prayer is, command the God, Goddess within me to place a pyramid of golden crystalline protection over the top of me that encompasses all of me, all of my aura, and all of my energy. This pyramid of golden crystalline light is so thick, so strong, no negative energies, no lost souls, no illnesses can enter. Only those beings directly related to my higher self, God, love and light, can pass through this wall of protection. In the name of God, I ask these things and thank you. Amen. Now, there is an advanced one you can do. So if you've been doing work for a long time, excuse me one moment. Sorry about that rude interruption. So there is an advanced part that goes to that you can add before you close off the last bit. You can go, I also ask that anyone outside this wall of protection can feel my love and light, but any negative energies directed at me are simply dissolved by this wall of golden crystalline light. And lastly, what's the last bit? And lastly, if you wish to, if anyone steps through this wall of golden crystalline light to give me a hug or whatever, then they leave their negative energies outside this wall of golden crystalline light. If they wish, they can pick it up when they leave. Otherwise, it is simply dissolved by this wall of golden crystalline light. In the name of God, we ask these things and thank you. So if any of you would like a hard copy of that, I have plenty of hard copies. Just, you'll have to message me your email address somehow, and I will send that to you. So you could message me through Facebook. I think you can you could just leave it in the comments below and I will send you a hard copy, but I'd need to have your email address to do that, okay? What else can we tell you about this? If you could begin to do this, connecting to the sun and the earth and your own heart and just opening your heart every day, as we bring more love into our life, more abundance comes into our life. And I'm not just talking about abundance of money, I'm talking about abundance of everything, abundance of love, abundance of peace, joy, happiness. That's what should be happening. Now, it might take more than 28 days if you've not been in a good place for a long period of time. But otherwise, just doing this practice every day of opening your heart and connecting to the essence of who you are, to your own divine essence, will begin to bring about more peace and love and joy. And eventually, because really I believe that money is just love. So, yeah, I would recommend that you do that. And you can do that just for a number of days. 28 days is the recommended time that you do that. After a while, you don't need to listen to the recording, but please come back and listen to it if you feel drawn to do so. What else do we need to tell you about this activation? Just basically to begin to become aware of your own divine essence, remembering that we only know 1% of who we are, and there's this other 99% untapped pure potential that exists within all of us. Within all of us, there is this extraordinary potential, and we're only using 1%. So if you're living in pain or in poverty or in sadness, just remember to ask yourself, your higher self, to connect into these other parts of your being and open yourself up to what can happen for you. There was one other thing I needed to mention that I mentioned in the recording, and I thought I must mention that in the how to get the most out of it, and I'm just trying to remember what that was. Give me one moment, just take a few breaths for me. It's not popping in. It'll probably pop in when I finish this video. Oh yes, just in terms of if you can't get down into your heart, the other thing that you can do is just breathe in and imagine that you're drawing your mind down into your heart and just connect it into your heart. Or you can do it as an infinity. You can take, an infinity sign, just take the energy around your heart up and around your mind and bring it back down. And just this will begin to open up your higher mind. Because most of that nonsense chatter that goes on, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, that's just your lower mind or your conscious mind. But there is this super conscious mind within you that is just magnificent and powerful. And as you begin to connect into that, and you can bring that down and just begin to listen to the wisdom of your heart as well. I mean, a lot of us listen to the wisdom of our minds, but we seldom listen to the wisdom of our heart. And you will find as you begin to open your heart up and begin to feel that energy, the essence of who you are spreading throughout your entire being, that's when you can begin to, that's when you just begin to have just stuff just pop in, or just stuff that happens and you realize there's no coincidences. So there's a huge cat here. I wish there was somehow I could show you a picture. He's bigger than the little dogs I'm looking after. He's absolutely massive cat. He's the biggest cat I've ever seen. And he was just banging on my door, demanding that I get up and feed him. And I was like, God, it's like 5:30 in the morning, what's going on? And I just ignored him to begin with. And it wasn't until I finally got up and I looked out my window and there was that massive sun there. So if you get into the habit of knowing or believing that everything is perfect, even when it doesn't look that way, then your life will begin to, and begin to ask questions. Oh, that's what I wanted to tell you about. Begin to ask questions. Why is this happening for me? Is a really awesome statement to say, instead of saying, why is this happening to me? When you say, why is this happening for me? That other 99% untapped pure potential that exists within you goes out and finds out, why is it happening for you? There is always a higher reason for everything. But we are so drenched in negativity from the news and that all these terrible things are happening to us, that's where we go, oh, why is this happening to me? Instead of going, why is this happening for me? Why is this happening for me? And that's a great thing to do when you need to know anything. I mean, I think somewhere in the activation we ask a question. And if you just begin to ask questions, yeah, that's it. Right at the end there was an affirmation that says, how can I open my heart even wider and love myself and everyone I connect with today even more deeply? And that other 99% that you don't use in your brain and in your entire being goes out and finds the answer to that question. So start asking questions. How can I connect to pure source even stronger? How can I open my heart even wider and love myself and everyone I connect with today even more deeply? How can I earn $10,000 a month? Whatever it is, just begin to ask questions and let it go. Alrighty, love, love, love. My deepest love and richest blessing to you. That's enough of an introduction. I think it's longer than your actual activation now. And I look forward to chatting with you all through your comments in the coming months. Take care and lots of love and bye for now. Namaste.